before you say anything, look. See that? See all this stuff? Do you know what all this means? It means I'm a One Piece fan. All right. So before you were getting in the comment section and blah 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 blah, hey, I'm one of you guys. I'm here to help the community. Let's have some open dialogue about our favorite manga, all right? Our favorite show. I gotta talk about this because it's been on my mind for a while, and someone brought up a good point I saw on Twitter. If you know One Piece, top 7 manga of all time. What else do I gotta say? The best out of the big three. Peak fiction. Almost selling as many copies as the Bible. You know One Piece. Yeah, that manga. I could sing its praises for the rest of the video, and I'm pretty sure it would do pretty well. But at the same time, it's like we gotta talk about some issues, especially most specifically the One Piece manga. We gotta talk about that because man, Wano just ended. We're now in Egg Island, I think it's called. Vegapunk's Island. The fabled Vegapunk is finally here. We saw him. Our character design is a completely different question I will not get into. I'm kind of pissed off about Oda doing Oda. But hey, what I'm here to talk about is an issue I've noticed at the beginning of Wano. When the real tussling was going down, when niggas was getting down and dirty, I noticed this again and again and again. And then with the most recent chapters of One Piece, there was a panel that was going viral on Twitter, on TikTok, that it was just, ugh, I had to open my eyes and say, wow, okay, this needs to get talked about. And that's One Piece and its paneling. So when I mean paneling, I mean how the way a mangaka, most specifically Oda in question right now, is able to portray the story towards us. It's how Goda, and I'm still gonna call him Goda because he still is the GOAT. Even gods fall. I mean, look at God of War. Paneling is how Oda portrays the story towards us, okay? Layouts for paneling is different ways to do paneling to create different emotions, different emphasis on certain characters. Hey, when you have a big character that's been revealed for the first time, hey, you're going to probably have him for like half the page. He's going to take half the page. He might even come out of the box of his original panel and his feet might kind of protrude out to the bottom of the panel at the bottom, you know? Mangaka lays out each page for the panels to work. That's what paneling is. And I have to say, One Piece is getting pretty bad at its paneling, okay? And this is, again, remember what I said? Poster. I've 5 posters. I'm a fan, okay? So I mean this out of love, but what the fuck was that chapter? The chapter with Shaka getting introduced. Keep in mind, yes, the one I got posted around was a double spread. So maybe that's why it looked a little bit more convoluted and condensed. But still, even if you look at these 2 separate pages, it's hard to read. With One Piece, I think a lot of One Piece fans, you have to admit, we're here for the ride regardless. We're getting a dope story. We're seeing a progression with plot, and we're finally getting answers to our questions for the past 5 years. So we're gonna continue reading. But you can imagine someone who's not fully sold on One Piece, someone who, has a little bit more criticism than what we probably don't want to give One Piece. Let's be honest. I'm like that too. They're seeing that, and then they want to make claims that it's almost as bad as Hunter x Hunter. And to that I say, no way. It's not as bad as Hunter x Hunter. I would even say Hunter x Hunter's problem is not even the paneling. It's the constant flood of information that takes away from the art. Oda's art is good. Okay, I hate the way people try to compare Oda's art to Naruto and Bleach. It's not as good because it's cartoonish. But that's just how One Piece is. That's the whole world of One Piece. It's wacky, it's goofy. I don't know why people are getting mad over the whole Gear 5 stuff. That's how One Piece is. That's how the world's portrayed. But when Oda wants to go off on art, he'll go off on art. The first proper panel we saw of Wano, that was a beautiful panel. That could be up there with Naruto being introduced back into the Leaf Village, that panel. Or Bleach. I don't know what crazy Bleach panel I can think of right now, but Bleach is overall consistent. Now, Bleach art style is probably the coolest, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like Oda's art is good. Okay, that's as a preface. Yeah, with Hunter x Hunter, the problem is dumping information and sacrificing it for the art. So the definition of not showing, but just telling. Crazy Bleach panel I can think of right. Piece is that's the whole world of. When Oda with One Piece, the information is good. I love the information that we're being told, but it's the fact bunched up in these little corners here and there. The characters are there, but it's like, what am I seeing here? And then with the fight scenes, oh my god, like Gear 5 was cool, but before then and even during the fight, it was hard to read. It was hard to, let's be honest, boys. And I think the problem is Oda is a maximalist. He loves putting as much as possible on the page. His world is a world where there's so many things going on, and with the world building, he has the luxury of showing multiple things happening at one time. There's rarely just two characters on a panel, unless there's a serious fight going on. It's bittersweet, man. It's bittersweet because, again, as a One Piece fan, as a diehard One Piece fan, I didn't even notice this that much. But until someone pointed it out, I was like, yeah, if One Piece was like this from the get-go, I don't even know if I'd stick around. That's how bad it is right now. It's hard to read. And it's so bad because I know there would be so many more people that would still continue to read One Piece or would read it once a week like the rest of us. But with the paneling, sometimes it's just not even worth it. There was a few chapters, it reminded me of My Hero, where there was so many explosions going on in One Piece, I didn't even know what was going on. That is included when I'm talking about paneling. And to further get my point properly, let's look at the ones it's being compared to, the manga it's being compared to. Dragon Ball and Bleach. And these are perfect examples on the other sides of the spectrum, okay? If One Piece paneling and how Oda lays out his pages is in a maximalist style, I'd say Bleach is a minimalist style. Taite Kubo, I think that's how you say his name, he emphasizes, well, I think that nigga lazy, but it worked out for him in the end, the way he's able just to make a single panel with one character and a white space in the background. It makes sure that me as a viewer is looking at what Taite Kubo wants me to look at, whereas the speech bubble, what the guy is saying, or the expression the character is making, having a white space, it works for him, okay? And it works for the whole style of Bleach. Very easy to follow. I never really felt like I didn't know what was going on in the manga. Now, the info that was being portrayed, that's another thing. But in terms of from beginning to end, there was a good flow with the story. Less is better for Bleach. Not to say that Oda should copy this minimalist look. I don't think it would work for One Piece because, like I said, we are now with a cast of characters that needs to get light shown on each one of those characters within that arc. The cast of characters is like almost like 11 now. It's like what? The Straws are like 10, 11 people now at this point. So it's almost impossible to do something like that with Bleach because at least with Bleach, these guys aren't the main squad isn't really the main squad, let's be honest. Like Uryu, Chad, or Ihime, they kind of got pushed to the side. We got Renji, we got Rukia, but they're off doing their own thing. They're not as close as a squad would be the way the One Piece crew is. They're very in close quarters. Even during Wano, these guys are all within like a close enough radius that they're constantly going back and forth with each other. They're fighting multiple enemies. This is not. You could see this in Bleach, but I've read the manga. And even during the war arc where there was multiple characters being introduced, it never felt like it was too much. It would always focus on two characters. It would get the fight more or less done and move on to the next. It's like a million different cogs being turned in that one chapter. And I think Oda needs to find a better way to do it. Now, looking at Dragon Ball, I think Dragon Ball Z meets both in the middle. I wouldn't say it's minimalist, but I don't think it's maximalist either. Paneling and the flow is, I think, it's textbook manga creation. I think every single manga should really, and I think they have looked at Dragon Ball Z as the blueprint in terms of creating a good flow to your story. Like most shonen, its story is progressed and it's told through battle. If your battles are hard to read, then I can't like doing this video, I wanted to go back and look at Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z chapters, and Goku and Vegeta stood out to me as just a really, really good laid out fight. Although it's not minimalist where there's white backgrounds constantly, there's still backgrounds, but even just the movement with the punches and Vegeta and Goku flying around, it's like your eye is already trained to follow where Vegeta is going next. And when Vegeta goes top right, you're looking at the top right panel, Goku blocks. Now Goku maybe does a punch downwards, and now you're looking down at the next page underneath those two panels. Like he knows what he's doing when it comes to the paneling. I just wish One Piece adopted a bit of that energy. Not saying you should copy it, because at the end of the day, the reason why One Piece is as big as it is because it tries to do its own thing. But this maximalist approach needs to either take a step back or needs to get a little bit redefined for the rest of this story. With the more stuff that gets introduced, the more Lord is going to be. The more Lord is going to be, the more I'm scared Oda is just going to throw a bunch of stuff on the panel. I'm going to end up reading it because I want to know how the story ends. But going back on this, will it still age well? Will these panels go back 10, 20 years from now once we know what the One Piece is and the story is over, and we can say, yeah, this was not copium for me to be reading this manga. I actually genuinely enjoyed every single page, every single layout. It was just an enjoyable read. I don't know if I can say that about One Piece anymore. Reading it week to week sometimes is a little bit of a chore just because it's hard to read. I'm kind of used to not reading the spoilers. I have to say it. The spoilers at least give me paragraph by paragraph what I'm here for, and what I'm here for is a story, and the obviously what to do with the characters or what happens to each one of the characters. But I'd be lying if I said the most exciting part about getting to see a One Piece chapter every single week was how it actually looked. But not in terms of the art style. Don't get me wrong, the art style is good. It's just how the art style is portrayed. That is my problem. And I don't think enough One Piece fans talk about that because, like I said, we want to say it's like the best manga out there, which it kind of is. But it's got its flaws. It's not perfect. And I'm glad it's not perfect because it's the stuff that, as a group, as a community, we can actually talk about. But we need to actually address this because I've seen too many people say it's peak fiction, but never actually address some of the problems. And you know what? I'll be honest, it's hard to come after solid arguments as to One Piece is unbearable to read or unbearable to watch. But if someone had to make an argument, their best bet would probably be talk about the paneling and the recent chapters and just how bad it is. Because if you go back on Marineford, it's still a maximalist approach. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of moving parts, but it's you guys know what I'm talking about. It's hard to explain, but the flow of reading was 10 times easier. Keep in mind, these are two war arcs I'm being compared to. Onigashima Raid arc and the Marineford arc. Both have spinning wheels, spinning cogs going on at the same time. So many different things going on. It was such a pleasant read to reread Marineford. Whereas I'm going to go back and read Wano now. Just looking for One Piece content to read, but I know I'm going to be grimacing at a few panels like, oh, this, I don't know how I didn't notice this. This was serious copium. I was just trying to see what was going on in the story, but I wasn't trying to actually enjoy reading it because it was hard to enjoy. Do I get what I'm saying? Am I speaking sense? Let me know in the comment section. I hope I portray that more. You know, this is another low effort video just to try to get my thoughts out there. Let me see what you guys think. The last one did pretty good, which is kind of annoying because the other ones I put like 30, 40 hours into, and then this one, a vlog video, well, I took like 2 hours to do, and look at that. So here's a letter to the One Piece fans. Let's have this open dialogue, okay? Can we agree that although One Piece doesn't have the most major flaws that some other shonen out here are just copying this, and that, it has a lot of good things about it. The world building, the characters, the emotion, the character development, the character progression, the antagonist, all great. So to say that the most grimacing thing about this story is the paneling is a good thing and a bad thing, because it's not like textbook thing that you see from other shonen, but at the same time, it's like, yes, this is kind of bottleneck because how is someone going to enjoy these characters, the world building, the story, and all these extra stuff that we love about One Piece so much if it's hard to read? So that's all I'm going to say about this. Let me know what you say in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, happy One Piecing. Remember, look at the posters. Look at the posters. Don't kill me. I love them. I love the story. But hey, peace.